Matt says, for local SEO, what do you see is the most effective way to consistently attract businesses that need SEO? Specialize. That's Matt. I would say specialize in a particular vertical and create all of your messaging and your marketing collateral for that type of a business, that particular business vertical or industry. So that, and then also, you know, if you don't, if I'm assuming, I know Matt, because you buy, you're quite active in some of the groups that I know that you you do a lot of SEO, you know, you probably have a lot of clients, but if you specialize in a specific vertical, that's where I found the best traction with getting clients is to become an expert for a specific business vertical or industry. Because again, you get to know that industry very well. It's much easier to scale your business because you don't have to constantly come up with new do new keyword research, new market research, new marketing creatives and all that kind of stuff for each new industry. You get very, very good at being able to speak with business owners in a particular business type because you know them or their, how most of them are for that matter. But also, you know, you know their customer base, right? So you understand their industry and the needs of their customers or clients. So it makes it much easier to be able to sell to them as an expert and a particular type of, as a marketing expert for a particular type of business. So that would be number one. Also, to make sure that you have case studies that you can share. And that's why I love lead generation sites, because I can create lead generation assets in a particular vertical and then use those to show, so that I'm not showing competitors. And remember, when you're like, if you're pitching to somebody in one city and you can show maybe clients that you've in the same business vertical that you've gotten results for in another city where they're not really competitors, then that's okay to do as well. But what I liked about lead generation sites is I could create a lead generation site in the same city of a location that I was pitching services to say, look, in your own city, I've already been able to get results for and generate leads for people that are looking for your products and your services in your city. And that's part of the reason I like starting with the lead generation and then backing into a client, if that makes sense. But you can still use any number of existing clients that you have, as well as lead generation, if you have any lead generation assets in that particular vertical, and create case studies, right? And share that with them. Video emails works really, really good. Something else which I talked about at PoFood Live is part of my holistic marketing presentation was whoever you're marketing to or prospecting to, hit them from multiple angles. So don't just contact them via email, right? You want to send emails, direct mail, remarketing. Make sure that if they've engaged with any of your digital assets, that now they're being remarketed to on the Google Display Network, Facebook, YouTube. If you have to have 1,000 people or more on a remarketing list in YouTube. But you can also set up, we're going to be talking about this very specifically in the Google Ads training that I'm going to be doing if we get enough interest in it, that we talked about at the beginning of this webinar. It's in the free Facebook group, the post about it, but how to set up prospecting campaigns using branding ads on YouTube as well as the Google Display Network, because you can get very specific targeting and use what's called in-market audiences for people. And Matt, we talked about this in the mastermind just on the last webinar specifically, but how you can go in and select for YouTube and the Display Network in-market audiences for people that are looking for business services, advertising and SEO, advertising and marketing services. And you can actually select that as an audience type. And then you can set geographic targeting. You can do what's called layering and all this other stuff to where you're constantly in your brand, right, as a specialist for their industry, and you get in front of them so that your brand gets seen by them over and over and over again in multiple formats. And when they see that, they're going to think, well, if this guy's if I'm seeing him on websites, banner ads on websites, if I'm seeing them in search, if I'm seeing them in YouTube, Facebook, I'm getting direct mail from them, got emails from them, ringless voicemails are coming through. That's something else you can do, like Sly Broadcast and these other kind of like voicemail injection services. You constantly hitting them. Imagine what they're thinking about when they're thinking about marketing. They're going to think, well, man, if this guy's everywhere, this is what he could do for me, right? Or this, this agency is everywhere. This is what they could do for me. So that's what I would recommend that you do. Hit people from multiple angles. I think it's much better and more effective that way than just trying to hit somebody from the same old method that everybody else is using, which is typically email, which is not nearly as effective as it used to be, in my opinion. Anybody want to comment on that? I know Hernan's probably got something to say about that.
Yeah, yeah, and I totally agree with what you're saying, Bradley. I think that at this point, the more touching points you have with a person from different angles, the better you can, reach to them, and you create that halo effect. We discussed it a little bit on the event, right? The halo effect that you create and you generate when you're everywhere. And we get that a lot, right? We get that a lot as Semantic Mastery. The fact that people will jump in on a call with us, or let's engage with an ad, and they'll start saying, well, now I see you guys everywhere, and that's exactly what we're trying to achieve. So yeah, totally agree with you. Go above and beyond, what you're doing right now, and you will reap the rewards, and you will keep on learning new stuff, which is pretty cool too.
From the feedback that I'm getting in the mini mastermind, I have mostly agency owners in our mini mastermind. I have Jordan's on there, Ed, and a couple other people. And the message is that they did start, the little fish in a small pond, they became the big fish in that small pond, specializing. But what happens is that you get so good, word gets out, because these people, business owners, they'll be at whatever meeting they're in, whatever owners meeting they're in, and they'll be talking about, well, who's doing what for you, and word gets out. And what these guys are finding is that the more successful they are with the clients that they have, the more that the word gets out. And I know Jordan can probably chime in on this, and if he's listening to our Hump Day Hangout, in that it really helps, to get these people, and maybe not clients in one specific thing, in other areas, and you'll begin expanding into other niches. And that's when you have to get really good or hire people who are really good, so that you can concentrate on just scaling the business. So you don't have to be in there day to day trying to, getting into that day to day thing that keeps you from scaling. So you hire great people. So this is how you do it. You may start that way, and you become well known, the guy who produces results no matter what, and you can't help but scale once that happens.
Yeah, because people will start to seek you out. That's the whole point, or your agency out. That's the whole point. Word gets out, and then you start getting referrals, and those are the easiest to close. Is also like the easiest type of prospect to close is a referral, because they've already, remember, if somebody's seeking you out, they've already made the decision that they want to work with you or your agency, if that makes sense. So it's just a matter of coming to an agreement of terms, which is why, like I said, I think, Marco's correct. I mean, for example, with my own agency, I got referrals from all different types of businesses, and that's primarily contractors, but different industries within the home service contracting field, right? So I've had to do a lot of that, and that's fine. But if you get really good at one particular business vertical, then what happens is, like, people in that industry will start to seek you out specifically, even if not through referrals, but it's because you can make a name for yourself. For example, you can even advertise and market within industry publications. For example, you can get ads put on, like through placements, digital ads on industry publication websites, but you can also do print ads and things like that. And if you have a reputation in that particular industry, then people will start to seek you out. And it's really, really good, because it's much easier to sell your services and close a client when you have somebody that sought you out. It changes the psychology 100%. So anyways, the next part of that was, best ways to keep local clients ranked in the 3-pack. Well, there's a number of things for that, Matt, and I'm sure you're aware of that. Press releases, content marketing, GMB posts, traffic, getting real traffic to the GMB and engagement through that, which you can also, you can get organically, but you can also do that by purchasing traffic, which is what I've been talking about, using Google Display Network and YouTube, even search ads for that matter. If you're using the location extension, you can get, buy clicks from Google that way, which will help to keep it ranked. There's, just so many different things that you can do for that to keep local clients ranked. If you have a real bona fide address, citations still works for that. Using drive stacks, obviously, and I know you know that, embeds and link building, the entity loop, all of that stuff can help to keep a client ranked in the 3-pack. Any other comments on that before I move on?